today's video, we're going to go over the highest paying bank account bonuses that are easy to sign up for. Jumping right on in, we're going to go to the Bank Bounty site, which is bankbounty.io. You don't have to use this site if you don't want to. I'll just include the direct links to the offers in the description if you just want to go that route. But the first offer we're going to talk about in today's video is Moomoo. Moomoo is not technically a bank. It is a brokerage, but it essentially works the same way a bank would for sign-up bonuses. Of course, since you're not going to worry about a credit inquiry or anything like that, and there is no annual fee either, which is also very nice. But yeah, Moomoo is a really great offer, paying up to $1,100 plus an 8.1% APY, as long as you transfer at least $1 in 3 months. Obviously, you're not just going to transfer $1 and get $1,100, but it is a tiered offer. So you can get up to that amount if you are able to do the transfer. As you can see over here, you can start all the way with $100 and get $20, and you can move all the way up to $50,000 for $1,000. I mean, pretty much no other bank is going to give you $1,000 for a $50,000 deposit. You know, a lot of people might think, oh, $50,000 is way too much to transfer to an app like this, but you don't have to keep your money there forever. Of course, you're just transferring it for the bonus. But on top of that, you're getting an additional 8.1% APY. So it's a really great way to have your money work for you. Even if you did one of the smaller offers like $2,000 for $50 or $10,000 for $300, which is pretty much in line with a lot of the other higher requirement offers like Bank of America and US Bank, you can go ahead, do one of these, and you get to cash in on that 8.1% APY that you get. If you're not too familiar with high yield savings accounts, this is a pretty much unheard of offer. I mean, you'll probably get about 4%, but Moomoo is going to be able to double that for you. I mean, you could even skip these and just transfer $1 and then maybe transfer your paychecks over to it to get that 8.1% APY if you wanted to. But once again, this is overall just a really great offer. Moomoo, the app itself, is really great to trade on if you're interested in trading and investing. Another great thing is that you don't have to worry about triggering a direct deposit from a certain bank. As you can see over here, we have our deposit triggers tab. You don't have to worry about any of this for Moomoo because it is a brokerage. So all you're doing is transferring money from whatever bank account you have to Moomoo, and then, you know, you're getting credited right away. I think it usually counts the day it settles, which will usually be a business day or two. Moomoo also has a lot of really great recurring offers for existing members on the platform. They had an offer for existing users where you could transfer $50,000 to get 4 sweet tickets to a Mets game, which is, you know, obviously a lot of money, but if you're just transferring it there and back, then, I mean, that's a pretty good deal to get 4 sweet tickets. I mean, the Mets aren't the greatest, but that's a pretty nice offer. But yeah, if you have any questions about the offer, feel free to reach out at support.bankbounty.io or just drop a comment down below. The next offer we're going to talk about in today's video is Bank of America. This one is also quite a large direct deposit requirement. If you want to get the full 500, you have to deposit $10,000. But the good thing about this one is that you can actually move money back and forth. So you might not have $10,000 sitting in cash in your bank account, and that is a-okay. You can still do this bonus. Let's say you have $1,000. That just means you have to move the money back and forth 10 times, which might sound a little bit much, but I mean, it is worth doing. If you go down to the tier list over here, you can see that you're only going to get 100 if you deposit 2,000. So you're going to take your offer, times it by 5, just by moving that money back and forth a few times. Obviously, if you have the full 10,000, just do it in one go, because this one is a fast paying offer. It pays out usually in about 7 business days. So if you're purposely just doing more transfers, you're only going to make your time frame to get paid longer. But if you don't have the full 10,000, like I said, don't count out the $500 bonus just yet. You have 90 days to do this, so pretty much once the clock is starting, you have a pretty decent amount of time to do it. I mean, you could probably transfer 10,000 within 3 months pretty easily, like I said, since you're moving it back and forth. There is a monthly fee, but with a lot of these offers, it is pretty much a given that it's going to be waived if you're doing a deposit. Like right here, it says if you direct deposit at least $250, which you will already be doing for the bonus, you will have it waived, or there's a bunch of other stuff too. to, but that one will already have us taken care of. Right here, I said key feature is that it pays fast. It also does pay a lot of money too. If you go over to the deposit triggers tab, you'll be able to see what banks you can transfer from for it to count as a direct deposit bonus. If you aren't too familiar with how that works, basically, a lot of these offers will say that you need to get, just for example, this one, $10,000 from an employer as payroll direct deposit, but that's not necessarily true for most of the offers. If we go over here to the deposit triggers, for example, with Ally Bank, if you transferred it from Charles Schwab, Chase, Bank of America, PenFed, SoFi, Fidelity, whatever, if you transferred it from any of these, usually it will show up as a direct deposit from your employer on Bank of America or Ally Bank, whatever bank you're looking at over here, and it will usually count for your bonus. That's why I said you can transfer money back and forth and the bonus will still work. Now, all these data points are just from user experience and of course what I find. So these are changing month to month, especially over the time span of a year. A lot of these can be different. So for example, if you did the Chase Bank bonus and then you used Ameritrade, it should work, but let's say there's a 10% chance it doesn't work. Don't give up on it just yet. You can try a lot of these other ones and it usually will work. And if it doesn't, go ahead and just reach out to me and I can try my best to help you with that. The next offer we're going to talk about in today's video is the Wells Fargo Everyday Checking. This one is a pretty good bonus, but the reason why I didn't include it earlier on in the video is because it usually takes quite some time for them to pay out. They pay out $425 for just a $1,000 direct deposit. Once again, the money can be moved back and forth, but it's usually 1 to 2 weeks after the 90-day period. So if you start it now, you're not going to be getting paid till about 100 days later, which is not terrible. It is still a pretty passive way to make a good amount of money, but it is something to think about. Going on to the actual offer tab, you can see that, like I said, you get $425 when you make an account and make $1,000 or more in direct deposits within 90 days of account opening. With Wells Fargo, you can easily waive the monthly fee by doing a $500 direct deposit, which you'll have to do anyway to go ahead and get the bonus, or doing other simple things like a $500 minimum daily balance, or being under the age of 25. Like I said, this one does take a while to pay out, but going on over to the deposit triggers tab, we can see that to trigger it, if you have one of these banks, it should work. You can do Chase, Citibank, Discover, E-Trade, Fidelity, PayPal, SoFi, and as you can see, like I said, these are all changing based on user data. Schwab used to work, but I put didn't work. I'll just take it off the list pretty soon if it seems that it keeps on not working. But yeah, overall, a really good bonus to do. Probably honestly would be at the top of the list if you didn't have to wait so long to get your money. The next bonus we're going to talk about in today's video is Chase. Chase is a pretty good middle ground because you don't get the highest bonus amount. You get $300, but you only have to direct deposit $500 in 90 days. And best of all, it pays out super fast, usually in about a week. As I said right here, the monthly fee is listed at $12, but just like with all the other banks, it can easily be waived when you do all of the following, like depositing $500, which is what you'll have to do anyway. If we go over to the actual landing page for the offer, you can see that everything lines up. You can simply just click open an account, or you can enter your email address and go in and branch, do whatever you want. But of course, signing up online is usually the easiest route to take. It says the offer expires on January 21st of 2026, but this offer has been getting repeated over and over, so it's pretty likely that the offer will still be the same once it renews, and I'll go ahead and just update the link for you guys. But going on over back to the deposit triggers tab, you can see that this one is another fairly easy one to trigger. As long as you have any one of these, usually it will work. Like I said, they do change month to month, but if you had either, were an Uber or Uber Eats driver, you probably will be able to make $500 on there, and then of course you transfer it from your Chase to get that additional $300 deposit bonus. They also have some other easy ones like First Trade and Ameritrade. Those are easy to transfer from, but overall just a pretty darn good offer to do. The next bonus I'm going to talk about in today's video is US Bank. US Bank's offer is honestly probably one of the best offers because you get $450 with an $8,000 direct deposit, which is on the higher end, but once again, you can move money back and forth if you need to. If we go over to the tier list right here, you can see that if you do 2,000, you get 250. If you deposit 5,000, you get 350, or if you do 8,000, you get 450, But once again, since you have 90 days, I mean, there's no reason not to move money back and forth to get the full 450. As you can see right here, you get your bonus within 30 days of completing the qualifying activities. But if you were to, let's say if you had $8,000 in your bank ready to go, you could transfer it over and you can get paid usually in about 2 days. When I did it, I got paid the next business day after it settled. So it is a very, very fast paying offer. But if you're moving money back and forth, it is of course going to take longer just naturally because you have to wait for the transfers to settle. But yeah, very, very, very good offer. The monthly fee is waived with a monthly direct deposit of over $1,000, which is obviously something you're going to have to do anyway if you want to do this bonus. Like I said right here, pays very, very fast. It's available nationwide. If we go over to the deposit triggers tab, once again, we can see that with US Bank, there are a lot of things you can transfer from. You can do Wells Fargo, SoFi, PNC, PayPal, Fidelity, yada, yada, yada. But best of all, usually ACH transfers work. So whatever bank you have, if you just do an ACH transfer, it usually will count as a direct deposit. I say usually, of course, because once again, this is all just based on user experience and it can change month to month. And it's, you know, very likely that if you're churning a lot of bonuses, at some point you're going to run into at least one bonus that doesn't work with whatever you're trying on your first time around. So you will have to try other banks on the list. But like I said, there are a lot of banks on here, so this is one that is honestly pretty much a sure thing that you'll be able to get at least one of them working. The last bonus I'm going to talk about in today's video is sometimes a little bit hit or miss, but it is still a really good offer. As you can see, the bonus amount is $400 for a $4,000 direct deposit in 90 days. Once again, that money can be moved back and forth. But the thing is with this one, sometimes people online say that the offer just sometimes doesn't work and they don't want to pay it out. When I did the offer, it worked pretty easily, but of course I'm not just gonna disregard the experiences that other people have had online. So definitely do take some caution if you're gonna try it. I mean, you're not really risking anything. You'll be able to withdraw your money. Of course, you might just not get the bonus. As you can see right here, there are no monthly fee with paperless statements. Once you open your account and you get the bonus, you want to wait at least 90 days after opening the account, or else you will get hit with a $50 termination fee, which is not really a big deal since there is no monthly fee. Just make sure you're not closing it right away, or else you will have to pay this fee, which is, you know, pretty small anyway if you're getting a $400 bonus. As you can see right here though, it usually takes about 3 months for the bonus to be sent, so you usually won't have to worry about the early termination fee anyway if you're going for the bonus. Going on over to the deposit triggers tab, we can see that BMO is pretty darn scarce on what will count as a transfer or as a direct deposit, but they do have Wise, which is a good one to transfer from, Robinhood, Chase Business Checking, whatever. If you have any of these, go ahead and try it out. I mean, if not, a Robinhood account is very easy to sign up for. You can easily make that in like 5 minutes if you wanted to. But yeah, one thing that I want to touch on is that a lot of these bonuses are not one and done type of things. So if you sign up for, let's say, the Chase bonus for $300, you can get that $300 bonus. Then you have to close your account, and I think you have to wait a year. So you wait a year after closing it, but then after that year, you can sign up again. So you're basically getting a free $300 every year for what, like 30 minutes of work. Obviously, if you make a catalog of just high paying offers, let's say you do 10 of them, that could be $3,000 to $4,000 that you're getting each year for something that you can really do very easily. If you have any questions at all, be sure to drop them down in the comment section below, or you can contact us over here, or you can just send an email to support@bankbounty.io. But yeah, once again, if you don't want to use the site, you don't have to, but I really recommend you do because there are a lot of resources on here and I try my best to update it pretty frequently and keep you guys up to date on this site. But yeah, that's about it. Definitely try at least one of these offers in this video, guys. I mean, it is very easy. Once you try out just one offer, you really get the ball rolling because you realize how easy it is to do. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, definitely drop them down below.